I don't understand why people settle for such middling anime, to be honest.
Hey, people watch One Piece. Leave them alone.
I think One Piece is way better than DanMachi, to be, like,
I'm gonna get
perfectly
canceled
clear
for
here.
that.
Like, I don't understand why you think DanMachi would even sit at the foot of Piece. Like, I can't
It
believe
doesn't.
this.
I know. Hello, everyone. It's that time of month again. Time for Anime Club After Dark to pop a squat and hit you with all the best and worst of what we've been indulging in recently. I'm your host, Chanada, joined tonight by the pimp hand of ACAD, John.
That's not my title. What? Why did
Bitch,
you
I'm
change my
hosting.
title?
Let's go. We're changing it up.
Um, a pimp named Slickback. You gotta say the whole thing. God, I love. Was that Cat Williams that played a pimp named Slickback? I think it was. But
Yeah, I think so.
man, let's forget anime. Let's just watch the Boondocks. I love the Boondocks, dude. It's
What
such
a
a funny
great
show.
anime.
What a great. I mean, it is kind of an anime. It's got
It
action
is. It
sequence,
is a
and
straight up anime, bruh. Like,
I consider
it
Afro
is
Samurai.
recognized by the community as an honorary anime. It is an anime. It is
Well, I'm
up
just
there in
saying.
the ranks with Avatar: The Last Airbender
Yeah,
and
like Avatar: The
Samurai
Last Air.
Jack.
Yeah, those are anime to me.
Boondocks is on that level.
Afro Samurai is a anime as well.
I mean, it straight up is.
Well, again, there's weirdos out there who are like, it's made outside of Japan. It's not anime. It's like,
Yeah.
sure.
Though the thing is, I didn't even know it was made outside of Japan until like a short while ago, like only a couple years ago. That whole time I was like, yeah, they made it in Japan. A little bit of a odd choice, but it turned out amazing. And then I eventually learned that it wasn't. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this looks like it was straight up from Japan. It's an anime. What are you talking about?
Well, that makes me think like, oh God, what? It's a new movie coming out. The Lord of the Rings anime that's coming out. It's directed by, um, the guy who directed. Oh my God, what was it? Ghost in the Shell,
Oh,
standalone
yeah,
complex.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like it's got a Japanese director and it's being animated by Warner Brothers. I believe it's Warner Brothers Studio that's animating it. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the Japan branch or not. But point is, it's directed by a Japanese guy. Is this technically anime? It's like I feel like it's anime.
Like,
It's
it's a
anime and
Western property, but it's gonna be made in Japan, so.
I don't know
Eh?
if the animation studio is based in Japan or not. I actually have no idea, but
That I
um
think that might be part of part of it.
God, I can't I can't wait to review that just cuz like I have no idea what it's supposed to be about.
I haven't looked into it whatsoever. I'm just like, whenever it comes out, I'm gonna enjoy it and ignore all of the community. Just judge it based on the work. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, we're here to talk about anime.
Yeah,
Anime that we
actually,
have been watching, reading, or playing. Anime that we've been playing. How does that?
anime
Oh,
games.
oh God, yeah. So I picked up. I don't even have this on my list. I don't even think I've ever talked about it, but I picked up
Sparking
Code.
Zero.
What? No. What?
What?
What? What?
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
No. Fuck. God, AJ, get out of here. Don't shut up about that damn game. No, I picked up Code Vein, which is like Anime
Anime
Souls.
Dark Souls. Yeah.
Anime Dark Souls. And I'm just like, I remember playing it at PAX 2017 originally and going like, yeah, this kind of whatever. This doesn't feel like Dark Souls. This feels more like God Eater. And then I found out it's made by the same people that made God Eater, and I'm like, oh, that
Oh
makes a lot more
shit.
sense. And I like God Eater. I like the anime and I like the games.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, this plays a lot more like God Eater than it does Dark Souls. Like there's because I don't know why everyone thinks just because it has big weapons and giant health bar bosses that it's a Dark Souls game. It's like a Souls game is much more than just those factors, okay?
Yeah. There's a bunch of mechanics that go into Souls games that makes it what it is.
Yeah, like Would you consider Monster Hunter World a Dark Souls like game? No, it has the exact same
No.
mechanics though, except there's like capture stuff. But anyway, I digress. I played Code Vein. I haven't beat it yet, and I'm very disappointed in the game thus
But
far.
John, the waifus.
Yeah, the waifus are hot, I suppose. But like the story is pretty fucking mid. I don't know. Maybe I haven't
There's a
beat it yet.
story. Does it matter?
I mean, yeah. I don't think the creators of I was going to say God Soul. I was like, what? God Soul? No, God Eater. I don't think the creators of God Eater have ever made a very like great story, because even though I like God Eater quite a lot, I like the anime by Ufotable quite a lot. The game itself is all right, but the
Okay.
storyline is kind of just like it's so. Maybe because I've been watching anime for so long, it's just like, oh yeah, this is so Japanese. This is such a Japanese anime, bro. It's so Japanese because there's just like a certain way that they like to do storytelling, certain way they like to do setups, and I can't really describe what it means when I say, yeah, this is such a Japanese anime. This is so Japanese in its storyline. Other
Is
than
it
like,
just an amalgamation of tropes and setups and such that are so
yeah, like
recognizable?
if you've ever seen Guilty Crown, if you've ever seen Old Noah Zero, it's like that's so Japanese anime. It's so par for the course. It's so standard. That's just like how I feel. I think I'm about halfway through Code Vein. But yeah, it's all right. I it looks super cool. The character's design is pretty cool. That's all I can really say about it. I I don't if if the mechanics were more fun and
Mm-hmm.
fluid, I'd probably like it more, but I just don't
It
like
just feels too
how
clunky.
how they so let's take Dark Souls for example, since everyone calls it anime Dark Souls anyway. Dark Souls is super fun because every new weapon that you get can have different effects and it can have a different attack pattern depending on if you one-handed or two-handed. And you can make different builds based on what type of weapon you're running and what type of build you're running, like a dex build or a strength build or a
Yeah.
magic build or a faith build. So there are different ways to play based around just weapons and whatever stat distribution you want to go into. In God Eater and in subsequently Code Vein, that's not really the case. They have like different styles that you can equip, but they all play the exact same.
Oh,
Like
that's lame.
there's like basically 5 attack patterns, and I'm like, well, so what's the difference between running any of these 5 different ones? They all feel kind of the same. It's like, well, this one is better at heavy hits. This one is slightly faster. This one has a better counter mechanic. And it's like, okay, it's not unique enough to like really. I'm disappointed in how the weapon mechanics work in Code Vein. In God Eater, it was kind of just like you build your own weapon that you kind of want. Like, do you want a fast weapon? Do you like? And then it's Monster Hunter in the sense that if you want a better weapon, you got to go kill monsters and farm their
Hey,
parts to
the
make it.
grind loop.
Yeah. In Code Vein, it's like you're killing things to get power ups to buy different types of weapon types, and then to upgrade it and stuff, you need monster parts. But outside of that, or not even monster parts, you need like whatever refinery things to upgrade it. But I don't know. There's like different. You have to find these different memories or something like that to unlock different play styles, and the play styles are like pretty
So
boring. I
it
don't
does
know.
at least improve. It doesn't stay the same all throughout.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't think that the play style is very good, and it's definitely not reminiscent of Dark Souls whatsoever. Maybe I'll
Well,
be
what's it more
maybe
comparable
I'll be
to?
like maybe I'll come back after I beat it and be like Code Vein was such a good game. Holy shit! Because Dragon's Dogma is a game that I really like. That's also a Japanese game. It's very Japanese in its storytelling. But once you beat Dragon's Dogma, that's when you go, holy shit, that's actually a real, like, what happens at the end of Dragon's Dogma. You're like, oh my god, whoa, what the fuck? Then you got to play through it again, and then get the actual true ending. Then you're like, oh my god, it's actually really, really good. because prior to actually beating it and getting to like the true ending, you think it's just an okay game. That's what I thought. And then I beat it and got to the true ending, and I was like, whoa, that was so crazy. I haven't played Dragon Dogmas 2 yet. I should probably pick that up next. But anyway.
You already have a list, buddy. Anyways,
I
we should talk
yeah.
about anime. What we're here to actually talk about.
These are anime games. This counts. It counts.
Sure.
Both of these are anime games. Dragon's Dogma has an anime. It was on Netflix.
Oh yeah, wasn't it?
We did a review on it. Me and Alex did a review on it.
How was it? I never
Terrible.
watched it.
God awful.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard from the community. I was like, okay, good to hear, or not good to hear. I guess I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Anyways,
Blue Lock is what I thought you were going to be talking about, but no, you were going to be talking about Blue Box, which I have a feeling most people haven't even heard of because it's attached to the Netflix curse. Tell us about it, John.
So my coworker's been bugging me to go watch Blue Box every fucking like week. Have you seen Blue Box yet? Like, no, I haven't seen it yet, man. I'm busy. I got other stuff to do, other things to watch. So I finally watched one episode.
Come on, buddy. I haven't gone to see your wife in a while. Like, leave me alone.
Anyway, I watched the first episode. I haven't heard anything about Blue Box either. So I was curious what it was. And he's like, well, it's kind of like, it's about sports. And that's all I'm going to say. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess. So I watched the first episode. It is very pretty. It is very beautifully animated. It's very fluid.
How does it compare to Haikyuu in terms of animation?
It looks way better than Haikyuu.
Really?
The art is way better. I think the art, it's a lot more pretty than Haikyuu, that's for sure. I haven't seen them do like actual sport sequences yet because this touts itself as a sport anime, but it's more of a rom-com than anything, at least in the first like episode that I saw. Yeah, I know. I had the exact same face. I was like, I thought this was supposed to be about sports. Maybe it gets more hype later on when they do more sports stuff, but in the first episode it's like you see, so there's a guy in high school. He's in love with his older senpai because she's like, she plays on the basketball team and she's like,
you said she. I'm already disinterested.
Yeah.
Not yaoi bait.
No yaoi bait. It's a stereotypical rom-com. And he's in love with his senpai, and she's like a year older or whatever, and she's like going to the nationals for basketball, and he's so inspired by how hard she tries to get into to the nationals or whatever it is for basketball, and he plays badminton, and he wants to get better at badminton for her, and it's like, oh, okay, so he wants to compete with her and get on the national level so he can be like, oh, I love you, senpai, please go out with me. And I'm like, that's a tough sell. That's very hard. Not everyone can just go to like nationals like that. It's very hard. But the rom-com setup is that it turns out that his mom, the main character's mom, and his senpai's mom were actually friends, and they used to play on the basketball team, and his mom went to nationals or something, and he thinks that his senpai is going to move away to America or whatever, and she won't be able to go to nationals. So he goes to her and is like, I believe in you, don't give up on nationals. And then she goes, actually, I'm not moving, I'm supposed to be staying with a friend. And then he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. And then as it turns out, the friends was that the mom and her mom are friends, and now the senpai is staying with him, and rom-com. Rom-com.
Kind of sounds forced, but sure.
I mean, it's very stereotypical rom-com. For one reason or another, the love interests have to stay together, right?
Yeah.
So that's like episode 1. And I'm just like, it's very rom-com-y. And I told that to my coworker, and he's like, well, the sports stuff is really cool, and it gets a lot better. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll continue to watch it. I'll at least give it the standard 3-episode shakedown before I completely drop it. But as far as rom-coms go, it's so mid-tier. Like the sports stuff, I'm assuming because of how fluid it looked, because it does show you Chinatsu practicing and stuff, and it's like, it looks really good. So I'm pretty excited to watch him do sports stuff and like compete and stuff like that, because it's gonna look really good. But It's a shame that it's such a mid-tier rom-com that's like sandwiched between the good animation.
That's honestly a shame. But if it's anything your coworker says to go by, then I think it's probably going to be worth watching. Because that dude's got good taste. He does have good taste, in my opinion.
And I feel like because Netflix has it, it's probably going to be it's probably why it's so unknown. Because for whatever reason, if it goes to Netflix, if it's not an instant hit with the normies, it dies. It just dies.
Doesn't help that Netflix barely advertises their stuff other than like normie shows.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, like, because Arcane just finished on Netflix, and that was a very popular show, and everyone knows about Arcane.
Well, they also advertised it.
It's true. They had like 400, was it 200 million, 400 million? How much was it? I forgot.
A stupid amount of money. Let's go with that.
Oh, you weren't on the episode. I don't know why I'm asking you like you're Alex or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had like a $200 million budget from Riot, so they had that Riot Games money, so they could use all of it.
Jesus Christ. Although
Anyway,
how much
moving
of it
on.
actually went into advertisement, who knows?
I'm, I'm sure Riot spent even more money to just advertise it, but I know the production itself was 200 million for 2 seasons,
It's
which is an
insane.
insane amount of money.
But it paid off from everything I've seen.
I don't know how much money they've made on the return on investment on that. I have no idea. I haven't looked it up. I'm not sure if I could even track that without being part of Riot's like accounting team.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's probably internal numbers. But I think the main thing is get enough people interested to check out League and all that. And
Yeah, and
if
buy
you
the
can at
$20
least
skins.
if you can at least land a couple thousand whales, they are good to go. They made that return on investment.
Yeah,
Oh, whales, will you ever learn?
no. Sell me more cute JPEGs.
How I attended an all guys mixer. I talked about this before, and I will be talking about it again. It's really fucking cute. Like, holy shit, my teeth are rotting cute. And I ended up doing something I normally don't do. I pulled a John, and I went ahead and read the manga.
Wow, you've been doing that a lot lately. This is like the third time.
I know, right? Well, not a lot in comparison to how often I do
I
that.
mean,
I don't know.
doing it 3 times versus never doing it at all, I feel like is a lot. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Maybe you've been a bad influence on me, John.
Good
But yeah,
influence. From listen, buying the manga is literally what anime is made to do, right? It's supposed to sell you on the manga or the source material. So doing such things is good for the industry. So I would advise anyone that loves their animes of whatever to go ahead and go buy the source materials.
yeah, please. We need this industry
Support the
to go
industry.
on. Yeah, no. So I gave in. I started reading, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is actually really good. It's incredibly cute, and like, I love all the characters, all the main pairings. It's just super wholesome, super sweet. Lots of fun character moments, and the main thing, they're actually all relatable. Because guess what? They're in college. They're adults. I love that.
Thank God.
Yeah, and it's not just stereotypical stupid shit that you'll see in most other animes. There's maybe one thing where two of the characters aren't that great at communicating, but that's also what makes them endearing. It's
Is
just
this the
super
one
sweet.
that has the cross dressing?
Yes, the
Okay.
cross-dressing chicks. Yeah. It's really good. I genuinely like it, and like the fact that it doesn't necessarily rely on cliches is what makes it even better in my opinion, and it holds up so strong because of that. Although there are some cliche type boys that are in there, but they're fun in a good way. It's in a good way, I will say. So highly recommend it. I genuinely love it. I love it enough to read the manga and catch up to the manga in 2 days because I couldn't put it down. I was like, one more chapter, one more chapter, one more chapter. 2 days later, I'm like,
So is there
what do
like
you
a
mean I
main
caught up?
couple that it focuses around, or is it just like an all cast thing where
No,
they just bounce around between like all the different couples?
all cast, 3 couples.
Hmm,
Yeah.
okay. I'm not really in the
So
mood for rom coms right now. Maybe that's why I don't like Blue Box so much because I'm not into rom coms right now.
I don't, I don't blame you, but I will say it's at least worth checking out. Like, all of the couples are different and all their dynamics are different. It's really good because of that. But all of them are friends with each other as well, so it creates interesting elements.
At least they didn't
Anyway,
make it like a fucking love pentagon hexagon. There's six of them, so it'd be a love hexagon.
oh God, no, no, thank God, nothing like that has come up or happened,
Yeah.
um, yet. But I seriously doubt it will, considering how the direction of the show and manga is going. And one of the fun things about the anime, they've actually added in a couple of anime only scenes here and there, which is pretty freaking nice that I really like. So,
See, I feel like what you're failing to understand about this is that when it's a love hexagon, we have the shipping wars. Half of the love of watching a rom com is the shipping wars. And if you don't give me shipping wars, then it's doing a really bad job.
the the bonded pairs that are there, it's so fucking strong you don't need shipping wars. Like, it doesn't force it down your throat, but
No.
you're like, yeah, they they're a couple. And it's like, get together already, you dumb fucks.
I mean, I feel like I should just watch this so I can dunk on it because because I like reading quite a lot of rom coms. So
You know
I
what,
I feel
John?
like I have a hmm?
Go ahead. Dunk on it.
Eh.
I'm saying it. Do it. Do it. Check it out.
I
Speaking of
don't have
lexicons,
to.
tell me about how her friend has been so fucking disappointing and middling. Because I've been
So
watching it as well, and
I
you're
I
right. I don't like it that
recently
much.
I recently started watching. So I watched season one, and I remember talking about it, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then season two came out, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch it eventually. And I never watched season two, so I was like, ah, shit, I gotta watch season two, then watch season three. Um, I did this because I had a lot of time off, and I was just like, yeah, I may as well catch up on anime, I suppose. I watched through season two, and I'm just like, I don't I don't really like it. And then I get to
That down
season three, and
claw,
I'm like, it's just been kind of like going downhill in animation quality. It's been
buddy.
going
It's
downhill.
not a hill. It's a cliff.
I feel like season one ends off with such a interesting like, oh, there's a betrayal in the army. He finally gets revenge, and then like the bad CGI has always been there. Don't get
Yeah.
it twisted, but the at least the animations for like the skills and shooting itself were a lot better than they were in season two and season three. It's gotten a lot worse. Like recently, I watched. I'm caught up on season three now for Ari Furta, and I'm just like, man, this has been really bad. um,
Yeah. The
yeah,
budget has shrunken by quite a bit, and it's very obvious. Unfortunately.
I don't know if the budget shrunk or if they've just been like just saving money. I have no idea. All I know is the writing in Ari Furta has never been super strong anyway or enticing in any way at all. So I was hoping that with the animation quality that they had in season one, they'd stick to that type of like to that bar and just keep animating that well.
And they
So to
didn't.
make up for the bad fucking story, because at the end of the day, it's an OPMC isekai thing. The only thing I can really say that's cool about Ari Furta is that the main character kills people without remorse. That's a fun time.
Lolly
Usually,
vampire wife.
lowly vampire wife. Yeah, that's certainly an appeal to certain people. It's okay. She's like 1,000 years old. Don't worry. Um, Yeah, I mean it's so. Part of me wants to say that Arifureta is a commentary on like OPMC isekai, but it's not. I know
It's
that it's
not.
not.
No.
It's it's a story that doesn't really take itself seriously, and unfortunately, if you're a story that's not going to take itself seriously, and if you're not going to be meta about the humor, then why are you making this story in the first place? It's like a very middling power fantasy, in my opinion. I'm still gonna keep watching it though. I mean, I want to see him fight God and just like destroy God.
Yeah,
So
this is going the typical JRPG route, and it's
yeah,
like,
find stick, fight God, or defeat God.
yeah, because he won't use a stick. He'll use a lot of fucking guns.
He'll use his Chunibyo fucking guns and airships and tanks.
It's just gotten so fucking ridiculous, and I can tell that they've skipped over so many like arcs and plots and like how he does things and all that. I'm just like, who the fuck are these people? And like, how does he have this shit? And it's just like it's coming together so quickly. I'm so
Yeah,
lost at this point.
they only recently in season 3 talked about like how come Hajime can do the things that he can do, and it's because he finally beats like one of the great labyrinths and one of the usurpers or whatever the fuck they're called, one of the irregular usurpers. I actually don't remember what they're called. They talk to him and they're like, yeah, we were only able to create like 3 of the 5 great magics. One of the ones that we couldn't create is something that Hajime can do, which is creation magic.
And it's just like,
His OP ability is like, oh, he has the power to create magic. He can just create shit. And that's
yeah,
one of the abilities that the usurpers couldn't do before. So that's like he's part of the prophecy of like he can utilize space-time magic, he can utilize gravity magic, he can utilize whatever the other third magic was. And now he also he himself has creation magic, so he has to like find the last magic or whatever. That way he can challenge God and
he
find a way
has
home.
make bullshit up magic.
Yes,
That's
his
what he
magic
does.
power, his OP ability is that I can literally just imagine it working and it just works. He's Todd Howard. Todd Howard the isekai, to be
Oh
honest.
god,
It
Todd Howard
just
the Isekai. Let's
works.
fucking go.
Oh god. Yeah, dude is playing Skyrim but with cheat codes on. It's essentially it. I feel like it's a
Yeah.
major spoiler, but I don't really care. I don't think anyone cares. It's our refer to who cares?
Yeah, like if you're interested, don't like
Yeah.
seriously, don't waste your time. I'm still gonna keep on watching it because I kind of love the trashiness of it, but it's not worth it. It really isn't. You
Yeah,
can
there's
do something better.
I mean, it's isekai trash for sure. So if you like isekai trash, man, just consume.
Not even like good isekai trash.
No, it's pretty bad isekai trash, but it's isekai trash nonetheless.
Yeah. Anyway, DanMachi, the ultimate gaslight. John, you don't watch DanMachi at all.
No,
So
I feel like I could go take a potty break or something during this. So,
this prick. Oh my
what
god.
is the ultimate gaslight? What did they retcon the story or something?
So major spoilers. Skip like 5 minutes ahead for anyone who cares. Um the TLDR is the goddess Freya. She's the white-haired one, if you remember at all. Long white hair. Anyway, one of the goddesses
I don't
is
watch it. Why would I remember it?
I don't know. You might remember some characters. You remember Hestia's tits, so
I'm gonna be honest here. I don't even remember what she looks like.
oh my god, boob string. Just remember.
I just
boob
remember
string.
she had boobs and the boob string. I remember that. I remember the memes.
That's
That's
all you
about it.
need.
I don't
Just go
actually
with
remember
that.
what her face looks like.
Anyways, one of the other goddesses, Freya, is so in love with the main character Belle that she tried to get him to be in love with her in another form. She can shapeshift and all that. And she went on a date with him and confessed her feelings to him, and like he rejected her. But she's so in love with him, she said, "All right, you don't want to do this the easy way, we'll do it the hard way." So she used her powers to brainwash the entire city, except him, into remembering that he's been part of her family, her group, clan, whatever. Um, and he's the only one that he's out of the few people that remember, other than like the higher ups of her family. Family is the clan of this world. Other than them, Belle is the only one essentially that remembers he used to be with Hestia, and she's just been gaslighting him constantly on like, oh yeah, no, you've been with me the whole time, and like everyone else as well is hypnotized, so they're like, yeah, you're with the
So
Freya
she's a
family.
goddess.
Yeah.
How come she can't just like make him fall in love with her?
uh she, Whole thing of like she wants him untouched as much as possible, or like something like that, and wants him to willingly submit to her. Just like,
Weird.
yeah, it's a whole weird thing. But yeah,
DanMachi
no, so
sucks, bro. This the more you describe to me what happens, the more I go, man, this really fucking sucks.
it's not for everyone, I will say that. I genuinely enjoy it, but it is not for everyone. But yeah, no, she gaslit one guy by hypnotizing an entire city. She gaslit an entire city, really.
No, that's not gaslighting. She literally just like brainwashed everyone in an entire city. That's not gaslighting. That's just brainwashing. Um, are there no other gods in this fucking world that can just like step in and be like, "Yo, this is too much"? Like, you know how like in D&D they have AO,
There is,
who's like the god of all, like the one who's like, "Hey, you can't touch the Fey rune. Can't do that shit."
yeah. There
Is there no
are,
top god that goes, "Hey, don't do that"?
there is one that is the father of all. I forgot what his name was. He knows what's going on, but he's not interfering because it's not in the way of the great work, so to speak, which is like have humans advance more and all that. He's like, okay, it's not necessarily getting in the way of things, so I'm letting you
And
do
isn't Bel
whatever.
like the son of Odin or some shit like that?
I have no idea. They never. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
isn't his ability like I can gain multiple more XP than anyone else or whatever? I get 100 times the XP for defeating shit
Yeah, he
compared to
does have
anyone
double
else.
XP. Yeah, but
It's like the
no,
son of Odin or some shit like that.
I don't think they've ever revealed who his father is.
Pretty sure
Anyway,
he's like a deity. But
wouldn't
anyway,
surprise me. Um, it's that one and Hestia who has the power of heart, and so like she used her godhood at the moment the hypnotizing spell was cast to um not be hypnotized, but like she can't reveal that she's not hypnotized yet. So it's interesting. Like she's like having to play mind games as well. There is a lot going on. I really fucking love it. Freya is thirsty as fuck and wholly mentally ill, and I fucking love it. I love her. Wife.
sorry, you just bored me to death. I just died.
I know.
This is like
Talk.
DanMachi, the ultimate fucking terrible anime. Like I don't understand why. What season are they on? 5?
Yes. Where's this for? No, this is 5.
Yeah, they're on
Yeah,
season
this is
5. I can't
5.
believe I can't believe they got 4 other seasons before this
And 2 movies and
and 2
OVAs.
movies. Oh my god, this makes so much money. This is insane to me.
Buddy, just because you don't like it doesn't mean other people don't.
Listen, there's nothing good about it. The animation sucks. The character design sucks. The story is what story? You just described me the plot of nothing good. Like, who cares? Go read Misery if you want this type of story. What the fuck?
No,
Season 5, just go read the book Misery. It's way more interesting than this. Um,
but doesn't have boob string, John. Don't you understand?
I don't understand why people settle for such middling anime. To to be honest.
Hey! People watch One Piece. Leave them alone.
I think One Piece is way better than DanMachi, to be like
I'm gonna get
perfectly
canceled
clear
for
here.
that.
Like, I don't understand why you think DanMachi would even sit at the foot of Piece. Like, I can't
It
believe
doesn't.
this.
I know.
Anyway, I'm gonna move on to
Yeah,
something else.
please.
It's really not doing great. Do Over Damsel has stayed problematic. So
It's not that bad. It has moments that are
yeah, you're right.
sus,
Having
but
a 12-year-old say she loves a 19-year-old and get married and they're gonna give each other happiness, that's not bad at all. You're right. Let's as Shinoda has pointed out, ladies and gentlemen, let us standardize this. Let's make it more common that we can marry 12-year-olds.
never said that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you
Never
didn't say
said.
that.
God, weirdo.
Yeah.
But there's
I
definitely questionable stuff about it, including the fact that they kiss sometimes, and I'm just like,
it's a 19-year-old who has the heart of a 12-year-old, so it's fine. He's young at heart, guys. It's okay that he's in love with a 12-year-old girl. Yeah, no, it's not okay. I they finally explained why they were so fixated on, oh, she has to be under 14. She has to be under 14. And I was just like, that's so weird that they keep fixating on this. It better come up. And it finally did, so that's a good
yeah.
thing. Really stupid? Why? I was like, okay, so like we have the god Rave and the goddess Kratos, and she's in love
Hilarious.
with Rave, but she wants to marry the dragon god, but couldn't. So she has the power to take over any girl that's the age of 14 or older. I'm just like, okay. And that's why the Dragon Emperor has to marry someone who's under the age of 14, because they wouldn't get their body taken over or whatever. So they wouldn't fulfill the prophecy and marry. But I have so many more questions. What happens when they turn like 14? Can they still be possessed? I
No,
don't
I
know.
think if I remember right, like once they become the dragon consort, they can't be possessed, right?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure they said this.
I have no idea. But
But like they gave a real runaround explanation to a lot of things, and it's a lot.
I think it's weird that, first of all, she's like 10 or 12. I think she's 12. Hopefully she's 12, not 10.
I think she's 12 at this point, yeah.
I mean, she's a literal child marrying an actual adult. And it's just gonna be that way forever, I guess. It's fine.
Well, physically she's still a child, but like she was transported back in time, so
She was 16 before she got transported back to being like 12 or 10 or whatever however old she is. But that doesn't change the fact that there is an age gap problem here.
yeah.
And it's not even like a cute rom-com. It's so I feel like dropping it, but I'm at the sunk cost fallacy right now, where it's like, well, I've already seen like eight episodes, 7 episodes. I'm caught up wherever
Might
we
as well
are.
let's see it through.
May as well see it through the end, because I'm like, I want to see what happens. Because like the interesting thing was like the goddess Kratos stuff. I was like, that's actually super interesting. I hope they focus more on that than the whole like rom-com aspect between the emperor and the little girl.
I kind of like the world building they have going on in the background as well. Just like all the nations, how the dragons work, the ranks, and I'm just like, yo, it's not half bad. It's not fantastic, but
There's
it's
an
actually
actual
not
like
bad.
interesting story, but I just can't get over the fact that they're so front and center about, yeah, it's okay to marry a 12-year-old. It's fine. He's in love with a 12-year-old. It's fine.
Like maybe you can hand wave it like, yeah, it's like kind of in older times when they used to do shit like this, but it's still cringy. It's still very much cringy.
In fact, the fact that it's written into the story of why it's important that she has to be 12, like, bro, this is like, this is some agenda I feel like they're trying to push that I don't really agree with.
In the words of the Joestar, damn the Japanese!
I'll never forgive the Japanese. Anyway, it's funny that this one's a lot more problematic to me than something like Suma Show, that I see that you have on your list right here. So let's talk about Suma Show.
That's because, John, Suma Show isn't problematic, actually.
It was never problematic. All I know
never.
is everyone who had a problem with Suma Show had a surface level problem with the fact that it's like, oh, his wife reincarnated as a little girl. And it's like, okay, that's not the point of the story. It's not like they kiss or anything like that. Like, come on, dude.
These are
He's
the
not
same people that'll judge a book by its cover. So
Yeah, quite literally. Judge the book by its cover. Like I have always talked about Suma Show and saying it's about learning to let go. It is a
and man, like we talked about this show before, but like now it's really coming to that theme, and man, it's
whoa,
gotten painful.
It's rough at the end here. I'm like, oh man. Just like I remember reading it, I was like, oh man, this sucks. Like it is. If you've ever lost a loved one, and everyone who has a heart has some form of empathy, understands the pain of like letting go of someone that you loved, and how if you were given a second chance to actually have them ever again in your life, would you let them go willingly? It's like, no, you wouldn't. You'd want to say the things that were left unsaid, and you want to live on forever with them. But then towards the end of Suma Show, it's like, no, it's always been about letting go, like learning to be okay without this person anymore, and learning to let go because it affects other people's happiness. And it's just like, oh man, this really fucking sucks.
Can we go
And
into the spoilers, Sophie? I want to talk about it a little bit.
I'm trying so hard not to go into the spoilers about it. All I know is I'm also pretty sure a lot of people dropped the show after they saw the mom, um, Marika's mom.
Yeah.
Because God, fuck her. She was such a terrible person. But understand that she was also going through a rough time, right? She had her reasons. It's not an excuse. It's not in a way.
She's human.
Yeah, she's very. This is such a human show, and this is why I'm like, man, it's gonna be so good, but everyone's gonna fucking hate it and cancel it and think it's gonna be problematic, and it's like, no, it's not. Y'all are stupid. Get past the plot setting.
It's so profoundly human is what makes it so painful to watch, honestly. In my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I I don't want to get into spoilers because I want people to actually go watch this. Like, I'll spoil shit that I don't really care about, but I'm not going to spoil Suma Show because I think it's actually pretty good and everyone should watch it.
I don't know. Like, we absolutely heavily recommend Suma Show. Like, keep watching. If you saw the summary and was like, oh no, there's gonna be one of those weird things. No, it's not. It's not weird at all. It's not creepy at all. It's
not perving on a 10-year-old kid, that's for sure.
It's not perving on a 10-year-old. It's wonderful. It's so heartfelt. It's extremely touching. Please go check it out. It's very much worth your time.
I do have some complaints with the anime though. So
do tell.
They completely skipped Mai and her quote unquote boyfriend. They completely skipped them getting together in the anime.
Really? How did
they kind of in the anime they gave her like one episode, but they didn't show like all the stuff that they did together before they got together. They completely skipped it. It kind of
so like the dating arc they skipped over?
Yeah, they completely skipped all that stuff.
Oh. How necessary was it, or how good was it that it matters that you're pointing it out?
I'm pointing it out because it literally goes from like Mai has a crush on this dude, and then like it doesn't go any deeper into that, and then all of a sudden he goes like, please go out with me, because he just skips ahead, and it's like, oh, he shows up on she asks him out on Christmas, and then he goes, oh, I'm busy that day with friends, sorry. Then he shows up later and it's like, sorry, I was busy, here's a gift. And then after that they just start dating, and she's like shocked. She's like, oh, we're dating? And it's like, well, yeah, because they didn't show any of the preamble to this.
Okay.
So Mai actually works with that kid. I I think he's younger than Maya. I'm pretty sure,
I
but
don't remember.
I don't think they ever talk about it. But anyway, she finds a guy that she thinks is cute, and then she has to work with him, and they actually have more interactions outside of like um just like, hey, I'm here to help you out, because
More than
she, I
what we saw in
believe,
the anime.
I think in the manga she goes with him to a friend's wedding.
Oh, okay.
She gets asked to be his plus one, and I think that's where she's like, that's where they start like dating, and then they meet up and stuff like that. Prior to them getting together, they actually do hang out and like meet up and stuff like that. She tries to actually date him, but she's like, I don't know if this is gonna go anywhere or not, because she's never dated anyone before. And I was like, yeah, they kind of skipped all that, and I was just like, oh well. I mean, yeah, it's not like her dating and getting along with the guy is not like a major part of the overarching story of Suma Show. The overarching story of Suma Show was, again, saying goodbye to the mom, to the wife.
Okay.
It was just so
It
sudden, where it's like they know each other, now they're dating. It's like, no, there was a whole thing before this. Like, why the hell? Because it shows
yeah.
growth for Mai, and
Okay.
at least in the latest episode, you saw what happened at the end,
Yeah.
and it's like it's supposed to show that now that her mom is here or back again, she's growing as a person. She's finding love. She has all these questions, and she's supposed to be growing as a person. So it's like, to exclude that at the beginning of when she's like, learning to be an actual adult without her. It's like, oh, we'll just show it that Mai wants to learn how to cook because she now has a boyfriend. We'll just use that as like the main reason that she's growing up. And it's like, no. There's more to that. Because it shows emotional maturity. It shows a lot more than that. So that's my problem with it. So that's my slight, like, one thing I'm like, I can't believe you did that. I wouldn't have skipped it. I would have somehow fit it in. But I understand that it's not big to the overarching plot of it. And they kind of conveyed her growing up anyway, when they're like, oh yeah, she wants to learn how to make bentos and stuff now because now she has a boyfriend.
I think them getting together was kind of sudden and very rushed through.
Yeah,
But I
because they
think
didn't show like
considering
all the
it
stuff
was
before.
yeah. But I think considering the fact that it's not the main story, it's a sub story, and the fact that it does still show her growing up, maturing as a person. I think so long as they maintain those outlines, it's fine. Maybe not as good as it could have been, but I think overall it still fits the narrative picture pretty well.
Yeah, that, like I said, it's a very minor complaint, and I just wanted to express, like, there was, if anyone else was like, yeah, it was kind of really sudden, that's it. Did in the manga, it does have an explanation, it does have a preamble before they get together.
All right then. Um yeah, no, there's not much else we can say about it without going into
Without
spoilers,
going
which
into
we
major
won't.
spoilers, oh my god.
So all we'll say is please go watch it.
Suma Show's pretty good. It's not problematic. People are just weird. Anyway,
Speaking
pretty.
of another wedding show.
Speaking of other married people, 365 Days to the Wedding has literally one interesting plot thread, and then it just fucking fizzles out. And I'm just like, dude.
So what's the one interesting plot thread? I'm
All right.
curious.
So the interesting plot thread in 365 was the fact that it's not about the main characters. All right. The main characters are like, you have autistic rock girl and dude who loves his cat, right? Those are your two main characters, and they're faking a love marriage. That's the entire plot, and it's like, that's supposed to be how they.
And she is heavy on the autism, like holy shit.
Bro. It's so much, but there is a coworker of the main character, or I guess they all work at the same place. So there is a coworker of them that he wants to like get together with like the baddie of the office, but he's like,
oh, Gondo.
Is that his name?
Gondo? Yeah,
I don't remember the guy's name.
Gondo.
It's the fat guy. He's like, oh, I want to work up the courage to like confess to the Madonna of the office, But instead, he's like, yeah, but in the meantime, I'm gonna try out these dating apps. And he goes and tries out this dating app, and it's like, oh, actually, I'm not using this dating app to meet people that I want to date. I'm meeting people who have the same hobbies, and he meets someone who has the same hobby as him, is like who likes the same idol group as him, and it's actually like
Yes.
super cute. It's like he finds someone who's also actually like really pretty, and she actually has the same interests as him, and they hit it off so well. And I'm like, oh, that's cute, you know. And then it turns out,
Gonda. Gonda is his name.
I don't care about the guy's name, bro.
I just looked it up, okay? Anyway, go on.
Anyway, so the interesting plot thread was that where he actually falls in love with this other chick, and then he's like, I want to marry her. That he confesses to her, and it's like, I want to marry you. And then she's like, I have something to show you, and she shows like, I'm actually a single mother. And then I was like,
And he froze.
and he froze. He was just like, oh, and then she's like, that's what I thought. And then they like don't get together. They break up because he hesitated. And it's just like, this is actually a very interesting thing. So if you don't know, one of the most undateable person on on a dating, like in general, is single parents.
Yep.
Specifically single mothers, a lot more than single fathers, because there are so many guys that don't want to date someone who has a kid for very good reason. All right, because one thing you got to understand is like, when you're dating someone, you should be dating them for themselves, and you have to understand that when you're dating someone, their kid is part of their life, and you will eventually become the step parent to that kid if you want to take it, all the way, be serious about it. And that is a lot of responsibility for a lot of people. Some people are okay with it, some people aren't. So them showing this thread and showing this like interesting actual like love story, I was like, dude, this is a lot more interesting to talk about and to think about. So Gonda says like he wants to propose to her, he wants to marry her, right? But when he finds out that she has a kid, he's just like, well, why wouldn't you tell me about it? And she's like, because I keep my kid around to show me who people really are, because when I show them my kid, they hesitate, and like, I don't, and all this other stuff. And he actually like is shook by it, and then he's like, he doesn't know what to say. And he's like, I don't know what to say. And she's like, that's fine. I don't think it's good if we talk anymore. But he goes home, and then he's like, can I even afford a kid? And he does all the math, and then he's like, you know what, I want this to work out. So he's doing all this stuff to be like, let's like, I'm still serious about getting married, please talk to me again. Then he tries to meet her again, and then she just like dodges him. She sends a different friend to be like, yeah, she's not showing up, dude. And then she tells him like, yeah, she uses her kid in reservation to be like, to really fend guys off, and it's a shame because she really liked you. And it's all because he hesitated for a moment there. And it's just like, dang, bro, you were talking like you wanted to actually get married, you were serious about her, but then when it came to like came to shove, you froze, bro. And I was like, dang, that's real talk, that's real shit.
It is
And
real shit,
like,
but it's a bit unfair because like you gotta see it from like you have to see it from all sides. Her like how she did it, I don't blame her for that at all. But at the same time, you see it from his side. Like you get introduced to this huge shock bomb. Oh, she has a kid. What?
yeah,
What the
see,
hell? I wasn't ready for this at
and
all.
that's why I like, this is a lot more interesting of a love story than Autistic Rock Girl and Cat Guy. This is so much more interesting than them. So much more. Infinitely more interesting, because this is a real scenario that happens for a lot of people.
And then the fact that he actually looks at the financials of it,
Yeah.
like, and wonders, can I do this? Can I afford it? Can I actually do this? And he's like, yeah, I can actually throw in, I can do this. And he's like, yeah, let's go. And she just tells him, no, you froze. And I'm just like, you didn't even give him a chance to process. Like, what?
Well, I'm hoping that after her friends, because her friend notices that when Gonda's here, he has his bank book and he has his stamp, and he was like, he has everything ready to go to be like, I can actually afford this kid. Like, he thought about it. So I'm hoping her friend relays that information to her, be like, look, because you're right. Anyone that's a huge responsibility to drop on anyone. Like, I understand that a lot of single mothers will not say that they're single mothers in the beginning of dating, because that's kind of just a way to, when you have that on your profile, you automatically match with less guys A
Yeah,
lot less guys, because a lot of guys would be look at that
because
and be
you're
like, oh, I don't want to
automatically
raise your kid.
profiled.
Yeah, exactly. So I do know a lot of single mothers that when I was on dating apps would not say that they had kids. So I understand that because it's a huge responsibility, and I understand that for a lot of guys who are just looking for a casual, like, because a lot of these online dating websites, a lot of these apps and stuff, it's more about casual hookups, about like casually meeting someone, and you go, oh yeah, I have a kid, and it's like, okay, well, now this is a lot of fucking serious business, and I think a lot of people can't compartmentalize stuff properly and be like, that's fine, like, we'll just date, and if I like you enough, I'll be like, then I'll have to consider, do I want to be with you forever and take care of your kid. I get that that's a lot for a lot of people, and they can't take that responsibility. So I understand why moms would want to, or single mothers, or single parents would want to hide that fact beforehand. Though, like I said, for guys, it's actually quite the opposite. They match more when they have a kid because it shows, oh, he's a kid, he's raising a kid, he's a responsible father, this and that, blah blah blah. There's such a double standard when it comes to having a kid from men and women, like comparing men and women. It's so weird.
It's the usual bullshit gender stereotype.
Yeah, it's such
So
bullshit.
bad.
But yeah, I'm like, this is so much more interesting than the main characters, and I'm like, God, I really don't want to go back to the main characters. Can I just could I have a different camera just following the Gonda and his story? Because this is more interesting to me.
But we have who we have, and that's not that interesting. I'm still gonna watch it, but this is definitely one of those shows that I wouldn't recommend to people. I would
Yeah, it's very
straight up say
boring.
it's not. Yeah.
It's not a good rom com, to say
When
the
the
least.
side plot is more interesting, that's not a good thing.
When 15 minutes of a side plot was more interesting than your entire 8 episodes thus far, you've got a
Oh
problem.
yeah, that's the other thing. This was a single episode.
This was in like 15 minutes. Yeah, 50 is part of one episode, and it was a lot more interesting than the other 8. A lot more. Everything inside of this episode was a lot more interesting than the entire series thus far. It's so bad.
And the fact that like both of the main characters can be so freaking insufferable.
I don't find the main characters insufferable. I just find that, like, what's the appeal of this? Because, is it failure to launch? No, the proposal. The premise of the proposal is that it's supposed to be like, we have to get married for one reason or another, and it's supposed to be a meet cute and them falling in love with each other, right? In the proposal, it's like the boss, because she's Canadian, but she works at this American company. She needs to get married, so she marries her assistant, who's a guy, who's Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
The secretary just whispered it to me. It was Ryan Reynolds, and it's like he always treats her.
Oh, I
like
remembered
shit.
this.
Yes,
God,
yes.
It was so stupid.
It was a dumb movie, but I loved it. I love chick flicks. God, who is the? Was it Anne Hathaway?
It's Sandra Bullock.
It's Sandra Bullock. Okay, so it's Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, and like Sandra Bullock's the boss, and then she has to marry Ryan Reynolds, and she's like, we're just getting married for just the green card, so I don't get deported back to Canada. And she actually has to go meet Ryan Reynolds' family, and it turns out he's mega rich, and also like I think Betty White is his grandma or something.
Yeah,
And it's fucking hilarious. It's a hilarious movie. I love it, dude. So you have to have some type of draw when you do this type of scenario, because like I said, I'm comparing it to the proposal, and I'm like, I like the proposal quite a lot, and this premise is the proposal. I have a proposal for you. Let's get married so we don't get deported or we get sent to Alaska. And it's like, okay, so how do you make the couples actually get together? And it's like they don't focus on the couples actually getting together, like the rock girl and the cat guy. They don't focus on that at all. They kind of just put them in awkward scenarios where they have to keep lying through their teeth, and then them like, oh, let's go on a date. It's like they go on a date. It's like, okay, thanks for the date. And that was it. It's like, oh man, that was kind of interesting. I've never been on a date before, but it's like they don't do anything cute together. They don't actually learn about each other.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't see the appeal of the rom-com for this anime.
it feels so forced. And like, spoilers, but who fucking cares? They kiss at the end of this date, which is like a huge shock to both of them, but it feels so fucking forced, and like they just keep on going back to the fact that they kissed, and like they're now super awkward with each other. I'm just like, oh my god, this is so painful to watch. And like not in the cringy way. It's just like
Yeah, and then
this
like
is just forced.
so before we get to the actual interesting plot thread, his childhood friend meets up with Rock Girl, and they're drinking. They get drunk, so he goes to pick her up because she's drunk, and then he confesses to Rock Girl, and she's just like doesn't say shit to him. She just freezes because she doesn't know what to say, and it's just like hold on now, cat guy. Let me ask you something. What made you fall in love with this chick? What has enticed you about this lady thus far that made you go, I really like her. I want to start dating for real, not just a fake marriage. Like, what have you done? You went on one date to the carnival park to like be like, oh, let's get to know each other. Okay. You took her home to go meet your parents, and she fainted from heat exhaustion or heat syncope. And I think those were the only two interactions. I think those are the only two interactions thus
It
far.
pretty
So,
much was.
so like, what about these two scenarios made you fall in love with Rock Girl? I don't understand. Like, what?
It's
It's
not good.
yeah, it's a terrible rom com. I would not recommend anyone watch this. If you're looking for a good rom com, go. I'd rather go watch Blue Box if I want a rom com, even though that one's a mid tier rom com. At least it looks better.
Ugh. That's so that's so painful to hear. And like the fact that I'm watching it as well, I'm just like, yeah, it's not great.
Oh no, sunk cost fallacy at this point. I'm seeing it to the end because I want to see if Ganda gets back together with that chick.
Yeah, I'm
with
more
with
interested
the mom.
in that.
Yeah, with the single mother. That's so much more interesting to me. I'm like, I don't care about the main story. Like, I don't care if they actually get married and fall in love. That's like, again, we know that by the end of the show or the series or whatever, they are gonna fall in love and get together because this is just the proposal. We understand what this means as a rom com, as a chick flick, that by the end they'll somehow get together, right? But just because we know how it's gonna end doesn't mean we don't want to see the journey, because that just means the journey is a lot more important now. Now that we know that this is gonna be the ultimate ending where they actually get together and they fall in love, we need to see how it happens, and we need to see that it's a good way that it happens. So, not understanding that premise by itself is a shame. Like, I don't understand how you came up with this idea for a show, and you don't understand the basic premise of if we spoil the ending of the fucking show in the title, you have to make the in between parts good. Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna move on now. I'm tired of talking about this stupid show.
So moving on from romance to another romance.
God, it's just the season of rom coms.
It kind of is actually. Um 2.5 dimensional seduction actually has it does have some rom in it, but it also has a lot of characters that have
Which one
a
is
lot
this
of
one about?
backstories.
You talked about this last month. I
did.
don't really remember what it was about.
uh TLDR, manga club that a single guy is in, and new chick joins in and she wants to do cosplay. They start doing he starts being the photographer to her
Oh, this is
cosplay.
the
It's basically
Sonobiske,
yeah, but better.
but better. Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
better because like it actually has interesting characters with backstories that are a lot more interesting. Um and it has multiple characters at that actually have cool and unique backstories. So lately in the past couple episodes, I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers a little bit because I do actually care about it and want people to watch. It's a 24 episode show, so like just the first season alone, so it's worth watching for that alone. Um, there's been a new characters that have been added on to the main group, so now it's not just about the two main characters. There's a couple more characters in there now. The unfortunate kind of cringy part is everyone else is a chick. So it's
Oh, so
got
it's one of
that
those of like, it's a harem rom com. I see where you're going with this.
ish, yeah. And like they're kind
It's
of
a
going
power
into
fantasy for like a lot of men, where like, oh, I'm the nerd in the group, and all these other girls, or just all these other pretty girls, now orbit around me because I'm the nerd of the group. It's like, yeah, I get the appeal,
and
I
the
get the
fact that
audience
he's
here.
oblivious as fuck to it because like he's still a fucking nerd that is into 2D girls only, which is hilarious. And like most of them don't even realize that they're into him until like the most recent episode where two of them, well, like one of them knew because she's his childhood friend. The
Oh, so
others
that
only
automatically means she's not gonna win. Like, come
oh,
on now, dude.
of course, and
Automatically, we know this.
she's a model as well. Like,
You know
of
what?
course.
That's not true, because in I was gonna say Nichijou. That's not what it was called. In Nisekoi, False Love, a childhood friend wins.
Oh yeah, the one winner of the whole
Do you
whole
know how a childhood
rejection
friend?
genre.
Do you know how the childhood friend wins? Because it turns out all of them were childhood friends, and I'm like, that's such a cheap way to win, dude. They're all childhood friends. Get out of here. So stupid.
Nisekoi was on another level. Go watch
Nis-
Nisekoi.
I liked Nisekoi. RAP, the actual best girl. But I talked about that too. I was like, it's talking about shipping wars, man. Let me tell you about how much I dunked on my friend after his ship got fucking shot down. My ship got shot down earlier as well, but as long as his ship got shot down as well, I was cool. My second pick
That's so
got
horrible.
picked, so I was fine. My
Jesus.
second round draft pick won, which is why I was fine with it. But my first round, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I can't believe Raku would do this to me. How dare you shoot down my ship? But anyway,
Anyway, no, so these girls actually have interesting character arcs and backstories that aren't related to romance whatsoever. So it's actually really cool and interesting. One of them has to do with her mangaka father who divorced who got divorced with his wife, her mother, and like she thought he was just not there anymore, and like they got divorced for whatever reasons, and then like she thought for a second that he died. Anyways, it was a whole lot, and like they eventually reunited, but it was super touching, and the fact that the character arc actually pulled through was really fantastic. And there's another character arc with another character who was introverted as fuck, and they helped her become a more open person and actually helped her communicate. Like she was known as the silent cosplayer, because like of who she was cosplaying, but it turns out no, she was just so fucking antisocial and introverted. But like she loved cosplaying, but she just couldn't talk, and they helped her through all of that. A lot of good character arcs, and it's very relatable because of that. Because these are things that affect a lot of us weebs, specifically. So I genuinely like the fact that it has relatable things like this.
this sounds like a better rom com than the ones we've talked about so far.
It kind of is. Like it has some ROM in there, but it's not heavy handed, is the thing. Like it has actual other things going on in the world. Anyway, John, do you want to see us out with Overlord?
Bro, so we watched the Overlord movie, right?
Yes, we did.
I
Sasuga.
Sasuga Ainsama, but I was so disappointed in the movie, bro. They cut out so much.
I think that's the curse of reading because
Uh,
I enjoyed it for what it was
Listen, I
personally.
understand that the Overlord novels are very long. I fully understand I'm never going to get a full adaptation of a novel word for word. But they just they skip over quite a lot. Though I will say, Ain's disappearing and doing the thing with like the Eastern whatever where he was. That does happen in the book where he kind of just disappears and we just follow Nea for around. That's not a actual like they forgot to add stuff from the novel. That's actually what happens because it's basically summarized. He falls in the east and then he unites the tribes and comes back like fucking Gandalf the Gray, coming as Gandalf the White. That's literally like the explanation. He falls in the east, so he decides to go around and like collect all these villages. But there was another reason why like he falls. There was a whole duel thing. They totally skipped that, which is fine, I guess. Whatever, it's fine. But how did you enjoy seeing the Pope herself, Pope Nea? Because I love Pope Nea so much.
Pope Nail was amazing. She actually got on the hype train and just went,
Yo,
Sasuga, I'm some.
just
She
like
went, she bit the
she's
fucking
like,
fruit.
Ainz is justice, and she becomes a spokeswoman of a fucking religion, a whole ass religion, which is just Ainz is justice. This is our religion.
And fucking Demiurge, like, she's not that bad. I can approve of her. all his aides like, yeah, she gets it. She's fine for a human.
I mean, I really like the movie's effects. I thought that the CG was a lot better in the movies than it was in the
Oh
anime.
my god, it was so much better, especially of like the past 2 seasons. What we've been getting, I was just like, holy shit, it actually looks really good.
Hold
Even the
on, I
CG
thought
parts,
season 4 wasn't too terrible. I didn't think season 4 was that bad.
it wasn't. But in
It was better
comparison
than
to this
season 3.
movie,
Season 3 is complete ass.
like, but overall, in comparison, like this movie just knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, I really liked the Overlord movie for its visual effects, but god, there was just so much cut content, bro. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this."
I really enjoyed the music of it. Yeah, I thought they really brought it out of the park for that.
Yeah, the OST for Overlord has always been really good. They reused some scores like from the anime series, but they had some new ones. And like I said, seeing Pope Neo was just hilarious. I was like the one upside to the movie, regardless if it was bad or not, was that I get to see Pope Nea and how she's just like Sasuga Ein Sama. It's like yes, the Pope herself has spoken.
A converter to the faith. it it was a good movie. I enjoyed seeing it. I'll probably eventually pick up the Blu-ray for it
Oh,
with
I'm definitely gonna buy the Blu-ray. I
yeah.
mean, I own all the books now, so may as well own all the Overlord stuff. I have the art book too. My wife got me that the
Ooh la
anime
la.
art book. Yeah, I know. I have all the Overlord merch.
But yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I'm sad that they skipped over so much, but like that's to be expected at this point. It
I
really
mean, I
is.
know that I was going to be disappointed anyway because so the Overlord movie is the Holy Kingdom arc, and it's 2 books. It's actually 2 books, 2 volumes, because it's part 1 and part 2. Because when Maruyama wrote this arc, it was too long, so he had to split it into 2 books. It's like 1,600 pages for one chapter or for one novel volume. You're like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Insane.
It's
Insane.
like, oh no,
Right
we got
here.
to split it into 2 different actual volumes because it's too long. But they this so in the novels, this one should be, I believe, 12 and 13. I think it is, or 11 and 12. I think it's 11 and 12. The Holy Kingdom arc. I have them on my bookshelf. I can't read from here though. And then the end of season 4 is like the volume after the fall of the kingdom. It's like, okay, this is supposed to take place before the fall of the kingdom, but I think the anime has kind of retconned all of that. I don't actually know if they've retconned it or not because they don't actually show the passage of time in the anime, at least in season 4.
I have a feeling maybe they'll talk about it in season 5, but like honestly it doesn't matter too much because it was kind of a separate side story from the anime point of view.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the anime goes volume 15 and 16 are the Elf Kingdom arc. So then the one before that, 14, is the Fall of the Kingdom. So then it should be 12 and 13 should be the Holy Kingdom arc, Holy Light Kingdom arc. I think. I really should know each of the volume. I could pull it up on my phone actually. I could actually do that, but whatever, doesn't matter. The movie's good. I would recommend people go watch it if you like. I mean, at, it's hard to say that. You know why? Because if you don't like Overlord, at this point, like you're not gonna go watch the movie, right? And also, if you like Overlord to the point where you've seen through season 4, you like it so much you're gonna go watch the movie anyway. But I recommend anyone who does like Overlord go watch the movie. Hell, if you don't like Overlord, go watch the movie. You can watch the movie as a standalone thing, and you'll just get the gist of Overlord. Be like, yeah, that's what the anime is about. So go watch it.
Yeah, you actually can get a gist of the movie, just the whole series, just by watching the movie, which is actually little interesting feature of it, I would say.
Yeah, I hope that Madhouse hurries up and produces season 5.
One day, eventually. Next year, I doubt it. Maybe 26.
Well, so the problem is that they, with the volumes we have left that have been officially published, it's only 2 more volumes. Maruyama has not released the last like 2 volumes of Overlord. So,
Well, hey, maybe they'll actually take their time and adapt a whole volume.
well, it's gonna and the 2 volumes that they have left is a 2-part series, just like the Holy Kingdom arc, where it's like it was supposed to be 1 volume, but it became 2 because he wrote too much. So I think that the pacing of season 5 would be amazing because they're only gonna do 2 volumes and it's 1 full volume. So I hope they do that. They might do another movie though instead because it depends on how much this makes, right? Like I think that they went for this direction because it's hard to adapt just 2 volumes into a 12 episode anime, 13 episode anime, and have enough content to put in there without, exhausting your resources or making anime original things. So, depending on how well the movie performed, how much money they put in versus how much money they're going to get out of it, they might adapt the last 2 volumes, at least released right now, into a movie. Which
Okay.
I wouldn't mind, but I'd rather they do a season 5, spend 12 episodes, 6 episodes per volume instead of their standard 3 or 4 episodes per volume.
Yeah, personally, I'd much rather see a full-blown season for an adaptation.
Yeah,
And I
because
hope
that's
that's
like
what happens.
106 episodes for 1 volume. That's like 2 hours. It's 120 minutes minimum if they're 20-minute episodes to do 1 volume. I feel like to me that's like the good spot, right? Like I know that a lot of people do 90-minute videos like for a show for a like 1 movie length. It's 90 minutes feature length. Or I think feature length is anything above 60, I believe. I think that's what we talked about last time.
Not even 60. I think it's 50.
Really? I don't remember. I don't want to look it up. But point is, I would rather they do season 5 and do both of the volumes like that instead of another movie, but I think they're going to do a movie because I'm pretty sure the Overlord movie performed pretty damn well in Japan. As far as I know, I'd have to look up the numbers again.
Yeah, I haven't looked the numbers after the international release, so I'm not sure.
I think in Japan, Overlord movie was like number 1 for like 5 weeks or something
Holy
in
shit,
theaters.
really?
Yeah, something like that. I'd have to look it up again. I might be
That's
making
not
shit
too
up. Who
bad.
knows? I'm pulling numbers out of my ass at this point because I haven't done the research. But
Well, if the other theaters that were over here in the States were anything like mine was when I went to see it, which was packed full, I hope it did well enough.
I, funnily enough, I went during a was it matinee? The afternoon, like the
Yeah,
early
matinee.
afternoon. Is that
Yeah,
matinee?
matinees.
I went early afternoon instead of late at night, so that way it wouldn't be packed. And there was like maybe 4 people in the theater with me watching it in the afternoon, like at 2 p.m. Because I looked at the time slots for it. It's like the next one would have been at like 6, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want to go to the 6th one because there was barely any seats open. I was like, yeah, I don't want to be around here with other people. Like, well, sitting with other weebs in a movie theater.
God, the
God, kill
stink.
me. So yeah. So I was popular enough, but I'm like, yeah, but movies on the weekend in the evening or on a Friday. It was on Friday I went to go watch it. Uh, Friday nights, like always, things are always packed, so it's like it's not a really good indication of whether or not it performed well in the States. I haven't looked at the box office numbers. All I know is Overlord was only in theaters in my state for like a week. They didn't extend it or anything. Not like they did for like Godzilla minus one. Minus one got extended super long, like an extra month.
Months. No, not
And
just a single month, like a couple months.
no, for my state, it was like an extra month. It was supposed to be there for like 2 weeks, and it was there for 6 weeks, which is great because it was so good.
Buddy, over here, minus one was extended even longer than that.
Jesus,
Yeah.
that's insane.
I don't blame
But anyway,
them. I went to see it at least 4 times in theaters alone.
Yeah, to me the movie was mid, but it doesn't matter. I love Overlord. I buy all their shit,
Yeah.
so I'd
It's
recommend
more
it anyway.
Overlord. Like,
It's
fuck
more
yeah.
Overlord. What do you got to complain about? It looks even better. Like, come on.
Looks good,
Sasuga
sounds good. Sasuga, yeah, come on, it's great.
Oh, I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
I was so worried that they'd censor the fuck out of like Demiurge's weapon, or rather, it's one of his demon spawn that uses the holy club. I was like, oh god,
Oh, yeah.
wasn't that fucking absolutely vicious?
That was brutal. I mean,
Bro.
he straight up boiled people alive. I was just like, Jesus fuck, this is
No, when
awesome.
he takes control of the holy pope or whatever her name is, and he starts using her as a weapon. It's like, oh dude, that's so fucked up. It's so bad. Oh, I was like, oh man, because that's one thing that I knew. I was like, okay, if they do it in a movie, they're definitely not gonna be able to censor all of this fucked up stuff. Because there's a lot of fucked up stuff that happens in Overlord.
Yep.
Because they're in this world, there's a lot of messed up people. Slave traders, abusers, stuff like that. So
Shotacons.
Shotacons, yes. But then there's also the fucked up stuff that Eins in them do. Like
People
the
don't
happy
know about the
farm.
farm. Yeah.
No one knows about the happy farm. Kind of. They talk about it in season 3 a little bit.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh, I might have to go back and watch.
But you don't know. There's so much, again, like I said, in the novels, there's so much you miss from the anime. But anyway, let's close out because it's been going on long enough.
Yeah, John, you are over time.
Yeah.
Well, that has been our monthly dump. I hope you join us again next month for, I think, the last episodes of the season, right? Yeah,
Yes?
it should be wrapping up by the time we record the next one.
Yeah. Then we can give our final thoughts to the season or talk about new stuff. It all depends on like I'm pretty sure I'm not going to say much about anything else on this list. Like I don't really want to. I've said all I've wanted to say about all these shows, except maybe Blue Box. I'll give a final like this is my 3-episode review of Blue Box. Do you watch it or not?
Yeah. I'll probably go through a bunch of them and just give a quick review because I'm probably the one that's watched the most things again, as usual.
Yeah, you're watching so many more shows than much more shows than me. I'm not watching nearly as much as you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for dropping in to watch us. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We really appreciate it when you do that. Seriously. Check down below to find the links to Anime Club After Dark on Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky. We're on there now as well. And our community on Discord. To be always in on the loop what ACAD has going on and to chat with fellow fans. We also have a merch store down there as well.
As
with
long
shirts,
as you're
mugs,
18
stickers.
plus.
As long as you're 18 plus. Thank you very much, John. Yes, please be 18 plus to join us specifically in our Discord. We can't stop you anywhere else, but Discord, be 18 plus. Pretty please.
Or I'll ban you.
He wields that ban hammer. Do not test him. Or test him. Find out.
Find out.
We also have a merch store down there as well. Shirts, mugs, stickers, a lot of stuff. I recently just ordered a bunch of stuff myself, so you guys will be seeing that pretty soon.
I wondered who'd ordered all that stuff. I was like, did Chinoda buy this?
I did. It's for Christmas. Don't tell the others.
Um.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Show your love of Anime Club After Dark to your friends and family if you want. Like, cool. With
I don't know
that,
about that, bro. 18 plus? I don't know.
they'll be fine. With that, I have been your host, Chunoda. Thank you for letting me host John. It's always fun to do that. And
Oh
we
yeah,
will,
I'm so glad I didn't have to host. I hate hosting. Oh
aka saying
Lord.
the intro and outro.
Listen. Yeah, it's kind of we had a third guy on here and then he decided to fuck off, so
Yeah, fuck that fox.
something about making extra money. I'm like, oh, I can't believe he'd actually go to work. Oh, jeez.
What a wage cook.
Anyway, bye.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining.